Yo, what's up guys? So let's talk about Diablo 4 Season 3, and will it be enough to actually save the game and make Diablo have a comeback? This is a very frequently asked question that I've been getting via the Discord, and just in general, a lot of people want to talk about this subject matter. So I want to go ahead and start off by kind of explaining what's essentially new. These new areas to go into, pretty much similar to Nightmare Dungeons again, and honestly, at the end of the day, I'm kind of overdoing Nightmare Dungeons. While it is going to be a little bit different, there's going to be some traps, there's going to be these 4 new dungeons that you can go into, and then at the very end you get some sort of reward. Now, unfortunately, the rewards do not scale proportionally to what you'd want in the endgame. In the endgame, you want these uber uniques, and the only way that you're going to be able to acquire these are going to be through Duriel. So, my real question is, what's the point of having the new content not drop the highest potential for your gear, right? To play any action RPG, you want to make your character feel more powerful. And when the new content doesn't allow you to essentially do that after maybe upgrading your powers, we could talk about that actually right here right now. So we have the ability to acquire these new Sentinels, these new little pets, and then we can equip the pets with new abilities that can activate and make the enemy vulnerable, or make the enemy chilled or slowed or affected by some sort of condition where our character may open up the doors for new theory crafting. I actually think this is a great idea. But after I level up and make the pet really strong and get it to do some damage, what am I supposed to do? Remember, Abattoir Zir is not going to be in here. And while it's actually pretty similar to the vampiric system because you're just crafting random little stones, and then if you craft the same one, you get to upgrade your previous level of your stone. Now there is going to be this new gauntlet, and I'm actually more excited about the gauntlet than anything. And as someone that genuinely does actually care about the gauntlet, which is essentially a leaderboard that's coming later, I wish this did come in the very beginning, and I think that that could have actually boosted the player base for people to have a higher retention rate in terms of watching people stream, because people want to watch the best of the best actually play. And I do want to push for rank 1. This is something that I've done multiple times in Diablo 3, and heck, in the last season. I like to do it not only to make build guides for the rank 1 builds, but I genuinely do think it's kind of fun, at least within the first few days, to be up on the leaderboard. And because it's actually resetting every single week, it makes it so, well, if you didn't top this week's leaderboard, maybe the next week's you can. And I actually think this is a pretty cool thing. However, will that be able to hold the interest of the majority? I don't think so. This is kind of for the 1%ers that like to min-max getting every single thing perfect, and it's great for me for a little bit, but at the end of the day, I want to make my character feel more powerful. It's not like I'm going to continuously play in this area and I can drop a Jaw rune, or if I'm playing Path of Exile, Divine Orbs, and then I can get my character to feel more powerful. The Uber Uniques aren't going to be dropping as far as I'm aware of in the Gauntlet, nor are they going to be in any of the new Tremors area or any of the brand new vaults that are basically what is in the new season here. There's these new chests. If you don't take damage, you can go in and actually get more loot. But what's the more loot? The more loot is not Uber Uniques. The more loot is more legendaries. I never found to be at a lacking area of legendaries. This might be something that might be for more of the casuals to be like, wow, I get to open up a chest and get more legendaries. But didn't you do that in Season 1, Season 2? Even getting the Bloodlords and stuff, getting a bunch of legendaries may be exciting for a little bit, but if we're talking about going to Season 3, I think at that some point, a legendary isn't a big enough drop to get that dopamine hit, right? Where we have these new ranking systems, again, for the leaderboards, we don't know what's in these caches yet. So maybe this could be a saving grace, and there's going to be some super rare cosmetic skin that only a few will get for being on the top of the top, but basically it's just bragging rights. There isn't anything that is exciting. One thing that I think would make players actually excited and hold more interest in the entirety of the season is to say, whoever is able to get the highest score at the very, very end, or cumulatively the highest rank, so you get people to continuously play, they can design the next uber unique item in the game. Something to make players actually excited about that's actually new, because one of the things I don't want to do is farm Duriel. And these little newer areas where you get to kill basically a reskin Balrog to get these little pearl things to get extra legendaries, it doesn't seem super exciting to me personally. And on top of that, these new areas that have all these traps, this is exciting, but you're just getting more legendaries. Again, this is something where this over here is going to maybe be challenging, but at the end of the day, I want newer content and a newer season that I can consistently engage with. Now, if these have higher guaranteed 925, sure, it could be okay, but at the end of the day, a lot of people that are really good at the game are just going to slam Duriel runs until they get whatever they need, and all the items are 925. So if every single thing drops 925, they said they have increased it, and hopefully in these Nightmare Vaults that will actually change. But as far as it goes for me personally, I'm mostly interested in conquering that brand new boss. I'm gonna go ahead and just play some more gameplay in the background for the new season while we go ahead and rant and talk about like kind of what my thoughts are on this, because some of you guys have asked. So either way, regardless of what happens in any season for Diablo, I will always check it out because I'm a huge fan of Diablo and action RPGs. This is a brand new boss that is coming out, and there's going to be an Uber version of it. So at least for me, and I want to say even for like the majority of the player base, they can probably agree that if there is a new season and there's a new boss, that's something to tackle. On top of that, getting some more power in the pet, it's very similar to the vampiric power system, although the pet can apply the vulnerability instead of you applying vulnerability for vampiric power. But the vampiric powers to me still seem actually cooler than this. But we are getting a mid-season update that may add some other sort of power, and that could be similar to the malignant rings, which is what they mentioned on the campfire chat. So that's at least something to look forward to in the middle of the season, as well as the brand new gauntlet. I'm just going to keep on fast forwarding because I just want to go ahead and show you guys the gameplay versus them talking here. So you guys can see there's going to be like this new little hub world which you can use your obols and buy the same stuff that you've been doing every single time. People I think are already tired of re-leveling up their characters to 100. For me, I'm okay with this because I've been consistently playing action RPGs, and every season you make a new character. It's kind of a normal thing. However, for the casual base, like I've made, like last season, I made every single character level 100. And some people just simply don't have the time to do that, and I can totally understand. And I come from the complete opposite spectrum of like, it's an action RPG, you just got to re-level up every single season. But with Diablo, there isn't enough variety, I want to say, and flavor for the average player to want to consistently do this, because some people, they don't even finish their season journey. They don't even finish the battle pass. And while I can finish it in like 2 days, most people probably won't hit that because, you know, they got a job, they got like, you know, they have a family, they have whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, even for the players that spend, you know, like 30 hours a day playing, what do they really get out of this new season? Because you're going to become more powerful with the brand new pet anyways. And then, okay, so what do we do with our brand new power? There's no Abattoir of Zir, and let's say we already defeat the bosses. Duriel was a pretty easy boss at the end of the day. Even if you're like level 80, he still is a lot more enjoyable, I want to say, when you're like level 80 and you can defeat Duriel. But once you've already defeated him, it's not like it's super fun to defeat him again and again and again. And that's one of the things that I'm not looking forward to. And on top of that, the vaults kind of seem pointless because there's no uber uniques, there's no new power to gain. So I want to say, is this season saved because of what they've added? Basically, I want to say the vaults may be interesting the first time that you run it, but is it interesting to see this little fire trap and you have to wait for the little, like, you know, pattern to go through, and then you walk through it? Because people just want to go as fast as possible, so more likely to just teleport through it or use the mobility skill at the end of the day. But I don't want to say that this season is going to make players that were uninterested in Diablo now interested in the game. There's no new mechanics that is super game breaking that's new. One thing that they could have added that would maybe bring other players back into the game is some sort of big giant battlegrounds PvP, because people want to play PvP. And what I found very interesting, and I've mentioned this several times as a Diablo partner, I've been telling them they need to add some sort of queue system for PvP or some sort of way for people to PvP, because people are actually unable to complete one of the seasonal quest lines that is for PvP because you have to eliminate players, and there's no one doing PvP because there is no incentives. If there was a small chance that in the PvP area, if you eliminated players, you would get an uber unique, okay, you have a reason to go there. But to go there simply for what? Like, what are you going there for? And that's the same problem that I see with the vaults. What are you going to the vault for? Legendaries? Because you could just play nightmare dungeons and level up your glyphs to get those, you know, legendaries anyways, and you're going to get legendaries by just simply playing the game. So I think there's kind of a huge kind of a gap in between what players actually want and what they are actually delivering. But I want to say that this is moving forward in, when I want to say, the right direction, with the complexity of having all of these little rune modifiers with these stones to modify the pet ability. But why couldn't we get that on our character? Like, to have these homing missiles. Imagine playing Frozen Orb and all the missiles home in on the target. That would be exciting and awesome, opening up the doors for newer builds, versus now I have a pet that does kind of the thing for me. So I want to say that hopefully we can see more steps in sort of this direction in terms of complexity and more diversity, because there is some cool stuff in this. We'll have to wait and see what this does offer. And I do want to mention that there is an additional bonus, because there is the ability to get a unique, there's 2 unique stones. One of them just is +4 to all skills. It's like, okay, It's great, but is it like gonna really make you excited to play the game because you deal 20% more damage on average is what our skills will get. So that sounds exciting to maybe someone that's never gotten to Shaco or a Harlequin Crest, but at the end of the day, it's not changing up your gameplay experience, and I think we need more gameplay experiences and other forms of content in the game to really get players excited to come back and actually have that longevity. Because for me personally, okay, I'm gonna go level up a character to 100. I'm gonna defeat the brand new boss, and then the pet is gonna just kind of upgrade as we go along. And then what do I do with all the power? Because there's no abattoir of Zir until we get that new gauntlet, which doesn't even come out at the start. I want to say maybe people play for a couple weeks, they drop off, wait for the gauntlet to come out, they play the gauntlet maybe a couple times, and they dip out. It doesn't have the longevity that it needs. So that's my thoughts on it. I would love to hear your thoughts down below on the new season. Do you guys think that this season is going to be saving it? From my viewpoint, it's not going to save it in terms of having people play 10 hours every single day on a consistent basis. It's going to be similar to the previous seasons where people play for a couple weeks and then they dip off and then they come back in the next season, and that's going to be the way that Diablo 4 currently works. But my hopes are high, hopefully, for the next expansion pack, or if they redo the itemization in terms of like the stats in the next season, it can maybe help out a little bit. But it just feels like there's still a lack of form of endgame content in this game, at least from my perspective, especially when you remove the abattoir of Zir. But let me know your thoughts down below. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.